Okay. It's a daily review. Today's movie, I did another Bernardo Bertolucci film because he's got a lot of long movies that I hadn't really seen. So now's the time. So I did Last Emperor, which I remember it being on HBO or, ooh, look at that in the red light. Swing. So it's from 1987. Stars John Lone or Lon, I'm not sure, Lone. And he plays Puyi, the last emperor of China. So it's about the political turmoils between China, Manchuria, Japan, all starting in like 1908. Up until essentially, well, really basically kind of, goes basically until modern time, or at least 1987, but when it was made, present day of the time. But it doesn't really like have the major events in it. Like if another more traditional filmmaker had made this, it would be very, like, there would be war scenes. There's very little of that. There's documentary reel footage that our main character watches while in prison. That's their World War II sequence. And so it's pretty interesting. Yeah, and like same thing, or that's basically how they show a lot of it. So I think a lot of people would be kind of bored by this movie, although it's beautiful. Vittorio Sorino. How do you ever say his name? I should know because he's the best cinematographer ever. Where is he? I always forget how to say it until Storono. That's right, Vittorio Storono. And so he's done everything. But he also did 1900, that other massive movie I watched. This has I watched the theatrical version, which is 165 minutes, but there is a television version that's 218 minutes. So I don't know about that. I guess I should check it out, just like I should watch the full long version of Das Boot, the TV series version. But all right, so the interesting thing is this movie swept it. It took all 9 Academy Awards that it was nominated for. It's one of the few movies to, I think, I guess it didn't win everything it was nominated for, but it won 9 Academy Awards. No, I think it won every single one that it was nominated for. It's just, it's strange. This is kind of the movie that would win lots of awards, obviously, but the storytelling is so different than like American storytelling. Because it's basically an Italian guy. I mean, it is an Italian guy using American money to fund an American script. I think it's an American script. Boy, I really should do more research before I... Yeah. Odie, stop whistling, bro. She's whining. I'll hang out with you in a second, dude. Telling the story of Chinese history. And I don't remember where I was going with that. Anyway, and there's a Japanese composer. So it's a multinational affair, is what I'm trying to say, and that the storytelling is way different than if like Spielberg had done it or something. Like, what I found fascinating about it is it's always so interesting to see. Hey! It's interesting. It's interesting to see like what Bertolucci decides to show you. It's so fascinating. It's like, that's what you're going to show us? Those are the moments you decide to pick out? And it's even more fascinating on a movie like this or Centonove, 1900. It's because it's such a long time period, so you really have a wide spectrum of moments to show. And especially near the end, he has great endings to his movies. Like this one is like, it's kind of like mysterious and strange, and probably didn't actually happen, the last scene, but it's like a bit magical, a bit poetic. I think it works really well, especially with an epic, So it's like constantly fascinating to watch what he decides to put in his movie. Like he doesn't put the atomic bomb being dropped on Japan other than in newsreel footage, like of somebody watching it years later. Uh, but he does decide to show like somebody working in a garden for 10 minutes, or like somebody doing opium for a while, or like I don't know. It's really cool. It's. I guess he did similar stuff in Once Upon a Time in America. Um, yeah, it's cool, and a lot of international directors don't necessarily like um, they're not able to like work their way and make basically a like like an American movie in a sense. See, this is the other interesting thing. The movie is in English, like all the characters speak English. There's no. I was like, when I started, I was like, oh, I got to put on subtitles and put on, and then I noticed, I'm like, no, wait, their mouths sync up to the English. Like it's not dubbed. Uh, so that's when I was like, oh yeah, this has got to be. This is not an Italian production. This is Jeremy Thomas presents whoever that is. So it's either English or an American production. So they were like, no, 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 you're not gonna sell your movie, your 3.5 hour movie about an emperor that most people do not know about in a country that most people did not care about in 1987 that much. Uh, you're not gonna in America. I'm saying, you're not gonna sell that movie if it's all in foreign, you know. So that is it's like it bothers me a little bit, but at least it's not dubbed. Like at least they're doing their performances, so you can like maintain the acting and stuff. I don't know. It's awesome looking. The cinematography is amazing. The locations, production design, costumes, amazing. Everything looks super good. And I remember like seeing some of this, like or at least the beginning of it when I was really young, like 5 or 6 years old, because I remember like sounds and images from the beginning of the movie, which famously starts out with the emperor being crowned at age 3, and him just like running around the Forbidden City, like like a 3-year-old basically. And then the other famous scene that everybody remembers about this movie, which is so bizarre that people remember it, is that the baby, the emperor like takes a dump in his little like dump pot, his like little chamber thing, and then an old guy like takes it over to another old guy, and that guy like looks at it and smells it and is like, no meat tomorrow, and they just show a close-up of little turds rolling around in this bowl. And I don't know why that's so famous, but like whenever you bring this movie up, people are like, oh, that dude who smells little kid shit. It's like he's not like I think it's like that person is determining health things via which I'm sure you can know a lot from your poo, they say. You can learn a lot about a person. Anyway, I don't know why that's so impactful, but I think it's also because, like, not tons of other things happen, but everything's mirrored because later in the movie he gets in trouble for not peeing in his pot correctly. I don't know. Everything's tied together, but it is interesting that the most famous thing in the movie is a little kid taking a crap. Uh, you made like a 9-hour movie. Remember that thing in the first 15 minutes where a kid takes a shit? Okay, cool. Um, anyway, it is good. There's a great arc to the character, but looks wise, sound design, costuming, it's up there with all the great epics, but it's just story wise and performance wise, it's not there. Peter O'Toole's in this, and it's just like, whenever he's on screen, to me, it's just like him. It's just like, look, it's not Lawrence of Arabia. It's it's not the same thing. I understand that he's doing like a more poetic, in some ways lower budget, more internal epic, right? But I just think that the best ones are both. Like there's a internal character arc like Lawrence of Arabia, where it's basically a character story, but then there's also these huge events that make it engaging and feel vital. Like everything you're watching is vital, whereas in this it feels a little bit meandering, and maybe that's the point. I'm sure that's the point, but Doesn't always work. Doesn't always work. It doesn't always work. Okay. All right. Let's just do a little bit more music. Del Coco. De Vinci. Just making up words. Okay. Bye. Oh, the iPhone didn't go on. Fuck it.